Welcome back. Today, in day 73 of our Python journey. With Edulexis, we tackle a milestone, connecting a database to a web application. Imagine your web app as a restaurant. The database is the pantry where ingredients are stored. We'll learn how Python acts as the head chef, fetching data from the database to serve it to the user. We'll use SQLite for its simplicity and Python's built-in SQLite 3 module. By the end, you'll understand how to bridge your back-end logic with persistent storage. Let's start by initializing our database. In your project directory, create a new file called app.db. We use the SQLite 3 library, which comes pre-installed with Python. We'll write a script to connect to this file using SQLite3.connect app.db. This establishes a connection object. Think of this as the phone line between your code and the storage file. If the file doesn't exist, SQLite automatically creates it for us, which is incredibly convenient for developers. Once connected, we need a cursor. Think of a cursor as your personal messenger. You give it commands like SQL queries and it goes to the database, executes them, and brings back the results. We create this by calling connection.cursor. This object allows us to execute SQL commands like create table or select. It's the primary tool we use to interact with data tables within the database file. Now, let's create our first table. We'll build a users table. We use the execute a method of the cursor. The SQL syntax is create table if not exists users ID integer. Primary key, username text, email text. We use GUIF. Not exists to avoid errors if we run the script multiple times. This table structure allows us to store unique user IDs, their names, and emails, a foundation for any login or profile system. With our table ready, let's add some data. We use the SQL insert a command, insert into users, username, email, values. Notice the question marks? These are placeholders. We pass the actual data as a tuple in the next argument. This practice, known as parameterized queries, is critical to prevent SQL injection attacks. It's a fundamental security skill every Python developer must adopt from day one. One crucial step beginners often miss: connection.commit. When you perform an insert, update, or delete, the database needs you to explicitly save or commit those changes. Without this, the data stays in temporary memory and disappears once the script ends. Always call commit after modifying data to ensure your changes are permanently written to the app.db file. How do we get data back out? We use the select statement. For example, cursor.execute, select asterisk from users. But that just prepares the query. To actually get the results, we used cursor.fetchAll. This returns a list of tuples, where each tuple represents a row in your table. We can then loop through this list and print each user's information to the console. Now, let's bring this into a Flask application. Flask is a web framework. We'll create a route that, when accessed, fetches all users from our database and passes that data to an HTML template. This is the heart of dynamic web development, displaying live database content on a web page instead of static, hard-coded text. In a real-world web app, you shouldn't open and close connections inside every route. That's inefficient. Instead, we use GN in Flask to store a connection for the duration of a request. We can use the @app_app context decorator to close the database connection automatically once the request is finished. This ensures your app stays Fast and doesn't leak memory. Database operations are prone to errors. Maybe a file is locked or a table is missing. We must use a try except blocks. Wrap your connection logic and queries in these blocks. If something goes wrong, you can catch the error, unlog it, or send a friendly message to the user, preventing your entire web server from crashing unexpectedly. Once we have the data as a list of dictionaries or tuples, we pass it to a Jinja2 template using render_template. Inside your HTML file, use the for loop syntax, %for user in users % to create rows in a table. This allows your website to grow automatically as you add more data without you needing to change the HTML code. Next, let's add users via a web form. Create a form with action equals add and a method equals post. In your Python code, use request.forms to capture the inputs. Validate them, then execute an insert query. This connects the user's browser input directly to your database, completing the full data lifecycle: create, read, update, and delete. Let's dive deeper into security. Never construct SQL queries by string formatting. String formatting makes your site vulnerable to SQL injection, where an attacker can execute malicious commands. Always use the are placeholders provided by the SQLite 3 library. This simple rule is the most important defense against common web vulnerabilities. Organize your database code into a separate file like db_utils.py. This keeps your app.py clean and readable. Use context managers like with SQLite3.connect as con when possible. This automatically handles closing the connection, even if an error occurs. Writing clean modular code makes debugging much easier as your project scales. You've done it! Day 73, you've successfully connected a database to a web app. We covered connecting, cursors, CRUD operations, Flask integration, and security. Remember, persistence is the difference between a toy project and a real application. Practice this, build a small contact list or task manager, and share your results. See you in the next lesson from Edulexis.
Thank you for watching. Like if you learned something, share with your circle, and subscribe for more.